Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. We continue bi'idhnillahi ta'ala our overview of the book Zukhruf al Qawl by Shaykh Fahd al Ajlan and Abdullah al Ujairi. They move on to article number 37. At-tawajjus min kulli jadid. That one is very wary and suspicious of everything new. So they, the liberals, the modernists and others, they claim that the religious folk, the ulama, the du'at, they are too extreme and too strict and too cautious. They claim that when it comes to anything new, the ulama automatically state it is haram. Why is it haram? Because of what it could lead to. And then they claim, later on we find 1 year, 2 years later, the same ulama, they allow those items. They allow X, Y, and Z. So this shows that the ulama, the du'at, they were narrow-minded from day one, and they kept us away from X, Y, and Z with the haram fatwas unjustly, and thus they cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted. So this here is the impression that some of the liberals, some of the modernists, etc., they have of the ulama and the du'at. How do we respond to this? We say, well, this needs looking into. It requires investigation. Is this impression that you have of the du'at and the ulama, is it valid? Is it invalid? Is it an exaggerated impression? We will discuss bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Nonetheless, we state that the negative consequences of this impression, they are definitely felt and they are there. What are some of the negative consequences of this impression? They are: number one, that people turn away from the laws of the Shariah. How would they turn away from the laws of the Shariah? Well, due to this impression that one has of the ulama, of the du'at, etc., one tends to go on the opposite extreme. One has a don't care attitude. I will do as I please. I'm not worried about the fatwas of halal and haram, etc. This attitude, it is completely incorrect. Because of the mistakes, according to you, because of the mistakes of the ulama and the du'at, does that give you the right to now disregard the laws of the Sharia? Their mistakes shouldn't make you disregard the laws of the Sharia. This isn't an excuse for you. According to you, they were incorrect, so you should now also not be incorrect. And this leads to a vicious cycle of problems, one after another. Number two, that if one is completely accepting of anything new without investigation, then what would we have? We would have free for all, we would have chaos, we would find that people are dabbling in matters which are harmful for themselves. Number three, we would find that some people, they are very accepting of new ijtihad, as long as this new ijtihad is different from the one that they don't like. So maybe the dominant fatwa might be X, Y, or Z, and certain individuals, they like to dabble in new types of ijtihad and opinions, etc., etc. And so any new fatwa or ijtihad, this is fine for them as long as it's opposite to the one that they are running away from, as long as it's opposite to the dominant norm, because they want to be the rebels in society. So one needs to check one's heart. Is this my intention? What's the solution? The solution is to find better fatwas and ijtihad, fatwas and ijtihad that are well grounded and researched, and not just race to the opposite of the dominant, not just race to what I like, etc. Number four, we find that some people, subhanallah, based upon new fatawa and ijtihad, etc., that you find people that they actually have a regret for past obedience. What do we mean? Strangely, some people, you would find them saying like, oh, I stayed away from X, Y, and Z. I stayed away from like music because I thought that it was haram. But according to me today, it is halal. How I regret. For 5 years, I was not listening to music, for example. Allah musta'an, right? Or somebody says that I stayed away from X, Y, and Z, but I didn't have to stay away from it. According to my fatwa that I'm following today, or my new ijtihad, that, I regret, subhanallah. Allah musta'an, right? This is incorrect. This type of attitude is incorrect. At that time, if you were following a valid fatwa and valid ijtihad, that this was something that was impermissible, you stayed away from it, you were rewarded for that, walhamdulillah, right? You shouldn't now regret past obedience. Number 5, we find that this breeds negativity towards religiosity and the people of the deen. That individuals sitting around the table criticizing the ulama, the du'at, the callers to al-Islam, people who practice al-Islam. In closing, we state that there is no problem, there is no issue in critiquing, in providing feedback, etc. There's no issue with that at all, walhamdulillah. There's also no issue in identifying a problem and trying to remedy the problem. But the problem is when we try to throw out the bath water and the baby is also there. We try to get rid of everything, right? The conditions for the above with regards to providing critical feedback, suggestions, etc. The criteria for this and the conditions for this are that one must be just, one must have the quality of adl, one must be balanced in their approach. Walhamdulillah. Hayyakumullah.